Hi everyone, in this episode we'll cover the common questions of why kids should learn how to code. My name is John Michael, I have 10 years experience and I teach people how to code. So let's get into it. Should kids learn how to code? Absolutely, there's no question about it. Coding has been talked about a lot lately. If you're a parent whose child is in primary school or is about to attend primary school in England and Wales, then you might be aware that coding is part of the national curriculum. Yep, Key Stage 1 to 4. Or you might have heard of the government's initiative to get kids into coding, and if you haven't, well now you have. Here's a few reasons why kids should get into coding. Programming helps children learn how to problem solve. Well, what do you mean by this? Well, coding at its core concept is all about solving problems. It's all about getting a big problem and breaking it down into smaller problems in which they will overcome. Another reason is computer programming gives challenges to children and helps build resilience. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, breaking a problem down into small manageable bits feels like a marathon. So building up the resilience by overcoming problem after problem after problem to overcome the main reason and the main challenges. This is a great foundation to instill into children. Another reason is coding helps children how to think. To solve a problem, the child will need to think about the building blocks which they will need to accomplish this problem. So addressing the issue in multiple ways, in multiple scenarios, helps them build their cognitive ability. A child can expand on their creativity by coding. Knowing how to code will build your creativity because there's endless possibilities. If you have a problem, use code to address it. Create a program and solve that problem. If it's raining, bring an umbrella, that's the problem. To solve that problem, the child can build an application which pulls in data of the forecast, and if it's forecasted to rain that day, send an alert. Computer programming is the future. We are now living in a world of data and companies are help sharing that data, which means there's more companies that's being developed just to consume that data, and those companies will need developers. The possibilities are now going to be endless. There is a lack of skill in the industry. There are a huge amount of jobs out there and not many developers to fill them, and it's going to take the industry a very long time to saturate the market. Computer programming might make maths fun. There is a lot of mathematics that goes along in programming. So building an application in conjunction with math is more fun, is more interactive. So those are a few reasons why kids should get into coding. If the national curriculum isn't enough reason for you to get them into coding, well, think about their future and set them up into an industry where there is an abundance of jobs. Will programmers have a future? Absolutely, no doubt about it. We were in a world where letters and telegram were a thing, but now we are in an era of data, and that's a huge jump in just 40 years. Did you know there's 2.5 quintillion bytes of data saved every day? 2.5. Do you know how big this number is?
The amount of data created each year is growing faster than ever before. By 2020, every human on this planet will be creating 1.7 megabytes of information each second. In only a year, the accumulated world data will grow to 44 zettabytes. That's 44 trillion gigabytes.
Do you know how much value there is in this data when we get to process it? The number of tech companies that's yet to be born, the number of jobs this will create, the amount of money that's yet to be unlocked. And we need to start getting ready for this because this is going to happen. Name me a job where tech isn't involved in some way, shape or form. Yes, English, maths and science is critical, but I personally think computing is going to shadow them all. Why would computing soon shadow English, maths and science? Have you noticed the amount of technology that has been pumped into English? We now have spell checks and grammar correction, all from deep learning and AI. Have you noticed the amount of tech that has been pumped into maths? We now have asteroid projection simulations and statistical analysis. I'm sure you have noticed the amount of technology that has been pumped into science. I don't need to remind you about Tesla and SpaceX. And that's just from one person who started them. All of these possibilities were made possible because of technology. Yet, why do we limit ourselves to only English, maths and science? If technology is a catalyst to advancements, surely tech should be just as important. So what's my why? Why am I doing this? Well, I want to show parents that coding is not scary. It's not even new. It's all based on real life logic, which we all experience. Now, if you can organize your day really well, I guarantee you can code. As parents, it's our duty to teach our kids English, maths and science to the best of our ability. And this is before they even go to school. And we do this just to give them a head start, right? But the national curriculum consists of more than just those 3 core subjects. And computing is one of them, from Key Stage 1 to 4. Now, I've noticed that parents have been avoiding teaching their child about coding, and that's because they don't know how, and that's okay. Or they just don't realize it's based on real life logic. I've been a developer for more than 10 years, and in my field, I've come across many parent developers, and even they don't teach their child coding. Again, that's okay. Maybe they just don't know how, or maybe the kid doesn't have an interest. Now, I want everyone to know that they're living and practicing coding fundamentals without you even realizing it. For example, an if statement is a basic code principle. It's a building block in which we can fork the programs into different scenarios, but we use them every day. If it is raining, bring an umbrella. If I'm hungry, eat. If I'm late, hurry up. Now, if you understand those 3 examples, then you understand code. And if your child understands those 3 examples, then they understand code and they should start learning. I want you to realize how easy it is teaching the kids about coding fundamentals. And I'm teaching my son, who's 3, about these, and he's already grasping the concepts of algorithm, classes, if statements, switch statements, inheritance, and much, much more. And this is so when they start learning how to type the code, so they can just say, oh, this is just like the time when we check if it's raining. The best way to understand a new concept is to translate it into a concept that we already understand. Like I said, coding is nothing new.